Hi friends, I'm Chelsea Grayson coming to you once again from the Office of the CEO. This is my show where I can help you be more successful in your current career, and I can also help you successfully transition to a new career. Today is another episode in my multi-part series on transferable skills, how to develop them, how to polish them. But today's episode, I actually want to focus on when you need to drop a particular skill or at least minimize it or put it to the back burner and let folks know that that is not the skill that you intend to transfer into the promotion that you want, the next job that you want, the industry that you'll transfer to, because you understand that's not a transferable skill that is attractive in that new position. So this is, for example, and I'll give you some examples from my own career path. Like when I was transitioning from being an associate at my law firm, as you guys all know, I started out as a lawyer. When I was an associate, some of the really important skills for being an associate were, look, we were fungible billing units, basically, right? I mean, one of the intrinsic values in a baby lawyer is that you can bill a lot of hours. That's how you are making the law firm a lot of money. They are billing for you by the hour. You don't know enough yet to really provide really high-level seasoned guidance. So the value that you add is in all of the work that you can produce and all of the hours that you can bill. You are a doer, you are a biller, right? And so you're in the documents, you're tasked with drafting the documents, which can take a really long time and can be fairly monotonous at sometimes, right? You're the one that's tasked with performing due diligence or responding to due diligence or discovery if you're a litigator, for example, right? You're up all night at the printers if you're talking about a job that involves SEC filings. So your job necessarily can be a little bit mundane. It involves a lot of hours, and it involves you being able to be incredibly productive in terms of churning out volumes and volumes and volumes of documents. And that's because you're not developing clients. You're not bringing clients in, and you're not assigning other teams to clients that you've brought in. So the only way that you can really generate money for the firm is by your sweat labor. That is absolutely not at all what's important once you are promoted, or if you're hoping to be promoted to the partner level. Once you're a partner, you are not expected to bill as much because your billable rate is much more expensive, much higher than an associate's rate. And so no client wants to see tons of hours from you. What they want to see is you're striking very strategically with your time. You put in an hour or two, but it's incredibly high level advice. It's strategic advice. It's well-seasoned advice. It's based on all of the experience and seasoning that you've had coming up as an associate. You've seen everything, and now you're a partner. You can provide that sort of insight, right? It's about spending an hour or two with the board and holding their hand, helping them keep their powder dry, helping them understand what to do next on the chessboard. It's about reviewing what the associates are doing, but you'd never see a partner actually in the documents drafting. You're not going to see a partner performing due diligence. So you're tasked with developing clients, right? You need to bring business in, and then you need to basically be making money while you're asleep, so to speak, as the phrase goes, right? So you've brought a client in, you assigned a whole deal team to that client and to that particular transaction. You shouldn't be needed too much on that. It should be good to go without you. You should be off over here developing 3 more clients. That's the life of a partner. You're no longer an employee. You're actually an equity owner of this company. Totally different skill sets, right? One is leadership, one is high level advice, one is macro managing, one is micro details, one is getting it done, spending all hours of the night at something. So you absolutely need to communicate to folks that you're ready to graduate from being a doer, that you'll always retain that skill if it's absolutely needed in an emergency, but that you can move on to leadership and to developing business, right? And then another example I'll give you from my career path is, when I was in private practice, when I was at my law firm, whether as an associate or a partner, and I represented a multitude of clients, but I was at a law firm. And in a lot of ways, my job was to tell the client, look, there's too many risks involved in what you want to do. Let's try a safer route over here. Or, that's really not going to be a go because there's so many laws that prevent you from doing that. Or I would highly advise against taking this incredibly risky move. And then the clients themselves, they make the business decision whether or not to take what I've said and apply it specifically. So we're absolutely not going to do what we wanted to do because our outside counsel, Chelsea Grayson, has advised us it's way too risky. Or they could take your advice with a grain of salt and say, well, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to do it exactly the way I wanted to, because I'll take what she said and I'll say, well, it's a little too risky this way, but I'll do it halfway. I'll do half measures, right? Or I'm just going to totally ignore that advice altogether and I'm going to go ahead and pursue this initiative. But that is not outside counsel's job to make that decision. Our job, because we're subject to legal malpractice litigation, is to point out all of the risks, tell you why everything is a bad idea, and then let you make the business decision that notwithstanding all of that risk that you'd be taking on, you actually want to pursue that initiative. Guess what? That job changes completely once you go in-house. So I was recruited to leave my law firm and become the general counsel of American Apparel. That was my original transition to American Apparel. I became the general counsel, and all of a sudden I could not be the department of no anymore. I couldn't have business people coming into my office asking me if a particular initiative or a particular lever that they wanted to pull was okay, and me saying, absolutely not, it's too risky, I would absolutely not do it, and I don't condone it. I had to change to the department of yes and, or yes but. So it had to be, yes, you can do that, but here are the risks and here's the sorts of things that you might want to do to protect the company. So yes, and you might want to add a layer of protection in this and that and the other way. Because at that point, I'm in company. I've got this one client. I can't be sued for legal malpractice. And it's really in everyone's best interest to see the company continue to be able to operate in the most unfettered way possible, to continue its operations, to continue to generate revenue, right? And so if you're constantly being told no by the in-house lawyer, you're either going to abide by that advice and you'll probably never get any business done at all, or, and this is much worse, you just will stop going to the general counsel for advice and you'll start just skirting around whatever it is you think she might say no to. If you don't get the actual no, you never heard it, right? It's like the tree that fell in the forest and no one was there to hear it. That's the worst position you can be in as a general counsel, and it's the quickest way to being totally ineffectual as the general counsel. If nobody continues to come to you anymore and you're just sitting in your office doing nothing all day long, that means there's a lot of people out there sort of freewheeling it in the company. And it would have been better if they would have come to you. You could have assessed the risk, told them, go ahead and do this, but let me weigh in with you. Let me monitor. Let me sit alongside you so we can do it in the safest way possible while you're still able to pursue your business, right? So I hope those were two good examples that show you situations where you need to graduate from a particular skill, you need to leave a certain skill behind or a certain ethos in order to get to the next level, or in order to take a job in a different segment altogether, to take a completely different job. So it's sort of the flip side of transferable skills. It's knowing when to minimize, back burner, or completely drop a particular skill in order to show folks that you can actually transition to this next chapter in your career. Hope that was helpful. Please go ahead and drop me a comment and let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about on this issue. And please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss future episodes. And I will see you next time from the office.